thyroid itself is an endocrine gland. As I said, pituitary is called as master gland. LH has a great role to play both in males and females. Process of formation of the male gamete called the sperm. When the glucose level is not controlled and insulin is not produced in sufficient quantity to control the glucose level in blood, it is called as diabetes mellitus. Hi everyone, welcome back to session 3 of chapter 19 called Chemical Coordination and Integration. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in the last session, we started off with yet another important endocrine gland called the pituitary gland. As we all know that pituitary gland is called as the master gland, which is divided into two parts or two portions. One is the anterior part called adenohypophysis and the posterior part called neurohypophysis. We were discussing about the hormones that are produced by the anterior pituitary. As we all know that the anterior pituitary produces the hormones of its own kind like the GH as we have studied in the last session, and PRL, that is prolactin, then TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, that is ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropic hormone, then FSH, then LH. This is about the anterior pituitary. And anterior pituitary is divided into two parts. One is called pars distalis and pars intermedia. So these are all the hormones produced by pars distalis, and pars intermedia produces only one hormone called MSH, that is called melanocyte stimulating hormone. Melanocyte stimulating hormone. Right. So the anterior pituitary is again divided into two parts. As I said, pituitary gland, which is located in just below the hypothalamus by a stalk called infundibulum, is divided into two parts, the anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary is again divided into two portions. What are the two portions called? Pars distalis and pars intermedia. Pars distalis of anterior pituitary produces the hormones like growth hormone GH, prolactin, that is PRL, TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropic hormone, then FSH called follicle stimulating hormone, then LH called luteinizing hormone. But pars intermedia produces only one hormone, that is called MSH. And hope you remember, we know that the neurohypophysis does not produce the hormones of its own kind. Instead, it receives the hormones of the hypothalamus. Hence, they are called as neurohormones. Anyhow, I'm going to discuss in the coming slides. So, in the last session, we have studied about the growth hormone, very important for regulating the growth of the normal growth of the body. And we also studied what will it lead, like hyposecretion of growth hormone leads to dwarfism, and hypersecretion of growth hormone leads to gigantism. And prolactin is very much important for regulating the growth of the mammary glands in females, which is also very important for stimulating the mammary gland to produce milk during the lactation period. Now let us study about the remaining hormones which are produced by pars distalis of anterior pituitary, and also let us study about the hormone which is produced by pars intermedia, and also about the neurohypophysis. So moving on to the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. This thyroid stimulating, the very word itself will tell you, this is a hormone which is going to regulate the thyroid gland in producing the hormone called thyroxine. Thyroxine. See, thyroid itself is an endocrine gland. As I said, pituitary is called as master gland. It regulates the functions of the other endocrine glands like the thyroid in producing a hormone called thyroxine. So, hence it is called as thyroid stimulating hormone. Hence the name master gland, right? So, it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the thyroid hormone called thyroxine from the thyroid gland. So it is very, very important. Thyroid gland produces the hormone called thyroxine, but the secretion of thyroxine by the thyroid is controlled or regulated by TSH of anterior pituitary. See how it is controlling the other endocrine functions, right? Hence it is rightly called as what? Master gland. Then moving on to the next very important hormone called ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. As we have already studied, there is one important gland called adrenal gland. Here you can see the thyroid gland. Here you can see the left thyroid gland and the right thyroid gland. So you can see just below the larynx, you can see it is bilobed. Thyroid is bilobed with left thyroid gland and right. What is the hormone it produces? Called thyroxine. It produces thyroxine. Then there is one more gland called adrenal gland. Here, kidney, it is found above the kidney, hence it is called adrenal. So, the adrenal gland is divided into outer part called cortex and inner part called medulla. So, the cortex produces the hormones of its own kind called cortical hormones. And medulla produces the hormones of its own kind called medullary hormones. So, they have a great, you might have come across a hormone called emergency hormone, which prepare a person for 3 Fs. 3 Fs. So, adrenal gland is like this because it is found above the kidney, it is called adrenal gland. As you know, kidney is otherwise called renal gland. Renal gland, or it is otherwise called kidney. Because it is found above the kidney, it is called adrenal. And this adrenal gland is divided into 2 portions. One is called cortex, which is outer portion, and inner called medulla. And cortex produces cortical hormones. And medulla produces medullary hormones. Medullary hormones. Right? Now, who controls adrenal gland in producing the cortical hormones? Adrenocorticotropic hormones. Particularly, the cortical hormones is the ACTH of the anterior pituitary. Hence the name adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormones from the adrenal cortex. So this is called adrenal cortex, called glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. So they are called as what? The cortical hormones are called glucocorticoids and they are called as mineralocorticoids. So the synthesis of these hormones is regulated by ACTH of the anterior pituitary. Imagine how important pituitary gland is. So as it is a controller of the other endocrine functions, imagine how important all these hormones are. So thyroid stimulating hormone, you can see that it is bilobed thyroid. This is the structure of a thyroid gland, which produces a hormone called thyroxine. Which is divided into left thyroid gland and right thyroid gland. So you can see it is bilobed and this is trachea. So adrenal gland, as I said, because it is endocrine gland which is found above the kidney. Kidney is otherwise called renal gland. Hence the name adrenal gland. And adrenal gland is divided into 2 portions. The outer portion is called cortex, called adrenal cortex, and the inner portion is called adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex produces the hormones of its own kind called cortical hormones like glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. And adrenal medulla produces the hormones of its own kind called medullary hormones. But ACTH of the anterior pituitary controls or stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormones from adrenal cortex called glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Moving on to LH, that is the luteinizing hormone of the anterior pituitary. Now let us understand this. LH has a great role to play both in males and females. Now let us understand what is the role played by LH. So here you can see the gonadotrophins LH, FSH and LH, which is produced by the anterior pituitary. And here you can see LH acts on Leydig cells. Leydig cells are interstitial cells. So here you can see how the Leydig cells are interstitial cells of testes, which produces a hormone called male hormone called testosterone. So LH is, so luteinizing hormone of the anterior pituitary has a great role to play in males, particularly in helping in synthesizing a male hormone called testosterone, which is very much important for the formation of secondary sexual characters in male. And how about in female? In female, particularly, it will stimulate the matured follicle, matured Graafian follicle, hence the name, and matured Graafian follicle to expel, to throw out, you can say, expel ova, which is called as ovulation during the menstrual cycle. Particularly in women who are not pregnant. So in that case, LH plays a great role. So see, imagine how important this LH is. So here you can see the matured Graafian follicle, and it will help to expel out, release ovum, and even convert the leftover cells to produce a hormone called progesterone, which is called as a female hormone. Just like testosterone is called as a male hormone, estrogen and progesterone are called as ovarian hormones. So imagine how important luteinizing hormone is. In male, LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormone called androgens. Androgens are nothing but testosterone. And testosterone is very much important for regulating male secondary sexual characters. Male secondary sexual characters, male secondary sexual characters, like the process of formation of a beard, mush, attaining puberty, all that is made possible by testosterone. So in females, as I said, LH induces ovulation. What is ovulation? Expulsion. Expulsion of matured ova. Matured ova from the matured Graafian follicle. Here you can see this is called as a matured Graafian follicle. Matured Graafian follicle. So this is ova from the matured Graafian follicle. So ova is very much important, as you know, it's a female gamete, very important for the process of fertilization. So in female, LH induces ovulation of fully matured follicle, that is a Graafian, from the Graafian follicle. Maintain the corpus luteum formed from the remnants of the Graafian follicle after. Remnants means the leftover. So once the ova is expelled out, the leftover cells of the Graafian follicle is called corpus luteum. So the leftover remnants means leftover cells. So important is LH in both in males and females. So luteinizing hormone is one such hormone which is produced by the that is pars distalis of anterior pituitary. Pars distalis of anterior pituitary. So in male, LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormone called androgen. So androgen is nothing but testosterone, which is very important for maintenance of male secondary sexual characters. In female, LH induces what? Ovulation. What is ovulation? On the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, there is expulsion of the matured ova from the matured Graafian follicle, and that process or phenomenon is called ovulation. Right? Then maintain the corpus. What is corpus luteum? The leftover cells of the Graafian follicle after the expulsion of the ova are called corpus luteum, which is going to produce a hormone called progesterone. Right? Hope you have understood. Next, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. Even this is very important in male as well as in female. Here you can see the FSH in male helps in spermatogenesis. And here FSH and LH is very much important. But actually in the previous session, as I said, in females on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, there is a a high level of LH. Hence it is called LH surge. And because LH is produced in high quantity or high peak level, then there is expulsion of ova. So very important this LH hormone is. So both FSH and LH stimulate follicle and the matured follicle to release what? Ova. Right. So in male, FSH along with androgen regulates spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? Process of formation of the male gamete called the sperm. Male gamete sperm is called spermatogenesis. It is a process of formation of female gamete called ova is called oogenesis. So in male, FSH along with androgen. Androgen is nothing but the male hormone. Male hormone regulates spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? Process of formation of the male gamete called the sperm. FSH in female, FSH regulates the development of an ovarian follicle called the Graafian follicle. So the primary follicle will develop into secondary into a matured Graafian follicle where the ova, the completely developed ova is going to be expelled out. So FSH and LH have a great role to play in both male and female. So in male, FSH along with androgen regulates spermatogenesis. FSH regulates the development of the ovarian follicle, that is to develop the primary follicle into a matured Graafian follicle. So here you can see the FSH and LH are called as gonadotrophins, which are produced by the anterior pituitary, hence they are called as gonadotrophins. And LH will induce Leydig cells to produce male hormone called testosterone, that is androgen. And LH in female will help in ovulation, that is expulsion of ova. Expulsion of ova. Ova is matured female gamete. Only when a matured male gamete called sperm fuses with the matured female gamete called ova, then a very important event will take place, that is called fertilization. So, and it will help in release of ovum called ovulation. And LH is also very important for to convert the leftover follicular cells of the Graafian follicle into corpus luteum, which produces progesterone, which is otherwise called as a female hormone. Female hormone. So imagine how important even FSH and LH is for both the males and the females. So in male, FSH along with androgens regulates spermatogenesis. FSH regulates the development of ovarian follicles. Moving on to the melanocyte stimulating hormone. Melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH, which is produced by the pars intermedia. So this diagram has nothing to do with this hormone, but just to explain how FSH and LH have a great role to play. So MSH, as we know, the anterior pituitary has two portions, that is pars distalis already and pars intermedia. Pars distalis produces, already we have studied FSH, LH, GH, MSH, GH, then ACTH, etc. But pars intermedia produces only one hormone called MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. Melanin is nothing but called the skin pigment, which is called as skin pigment. So MSH acts on the melanin containing cells. So regulate the pigmentation of the skin, as we all know, right? Pigmentation of the skin, like some will be fair, some will be dark, some will have medium complexion. All that coloration of the skin is mainly because of this hormone called MSH, which is produced by the pars intermedia of anterior pituitary. Then moving on to the next very important part, that is called oxytocin, which is produced or which is received by the neurohypophysis. neurophysis. Oxytocin is produced by received by the posterior pituitary from hypothalamus. As we already know, hypothalamus produces two hormones called oxytocin. Second one is called vasopressin, or it is otherwise called ADH, or antidiuretic hormone. So oxytocin is called birth hormone, and this is very much important for regulating the water level, water content in urine, particularly in human body. Right. So these oxytocin is called neurohormone. It is not a hormone produced by the posterior pituitary. Instead, it is a hormone received by the hypothalamus. Hence, it is called as neurohormone. Oxytocin, as I said, it is called birth hormone. Birth hormone. Why it is called birth hormone? Particularly, it is helping the females during the childbirth. So, during the time of childbirth, after the female completes her pregnancy period or gestation period, and she is about to deliver the baby, at that point of time, the hypothalamus will stimulate the posterior pituitary to release oxytocin. So already the posterior pituitary has received oxytocin from hypothalamus. So the posterior pituitary will release the oxytocin, and this oxytocin will bring about vigorous uterine contractions in the uterus, thereby forcing the baby or expulsion of the baby out from the genital tract, that is the vagina. So hence this is called as a birth hormone. So it has a great role to play, particularly in females for normal delivery. You might have come across a word called normal delivery. Why some females will undergo normal delivery, some will undergo C-section or cesarean section. Normal delivery is possible when oxytocin is released in sufficient quantity, thereby causing vigorous uterine contractions, and that uterine contractions will expel out the baby out. But when oxytocin is not produced in sufficient quantity, then the chances of normal delivery is not possible. Then they have to go for a cesarean section where it has to be done through surgery. The baby has to be removed through surgery. So oxytocin is very, very important. Hence it is called as birth hormone. So acts on smooth muscles of our body and stimulates their contraction So acts on smooth muscles of our body and stimulates their contraction. In females, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of the uterus at the time of childbirth. Stimulates contraction of smooth muscles of mammary gland, causing milk ejection also. See how important this oxytocin is. Not only it is helping to bring about vigorous contractions of the uterus, thereby expelling out the baby out and helping in normal delivery. At the same time, it also stimulates, as soon as the child is born, the mother feeds the young one with the milk that is produced by the mammary gland. So automatically, even the mammary glands are stimulated, and contraction of smooth muscles of the mammary glands causes milk ejection. See how important oxytocin is. So we have studied about melanocyte stimulating hormone, which is produced by the pars intermedia of the anterior pituitary, which acts on melanocyte. This is melanocyte, melanin containing cell, and which regulates the pigmentation of the skin. Oxytocin is nothing but produced by received by the posterior pituitary. Hence, and this is a hormone received by the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus produces oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin is also called as ADH, antidiuretic hormone. So hypothalamus produces oxytocin and vasopressin, which is received by the posterior pituitary. So the job of posterior pituitaries or neurohypophysis is just to receive the hormones from the hypothalamus and release it whenever it wants. right? So it does not produce the hormones of its own kind like the anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis produces the hormones of its own kind like GH, LH, then ACTH, TSH, etc. But the neurohypophysis will just release the hormone that is received by the hypothalamus, namely the oxytocin and vasopressin. And we have already studied the role played by oxytocin, which is a very important neurohormone, which is called as birth hormone, acts on smooth muscles of our body and stimulates their contraction. In females, as you know, at the time of childbirth, it stimulates the vigorous contractions of the uterus, thereby expelling the baby out, and that is process, or that phenomenon is called parturition or childbirth. Then stimulates contraction of smooth muscles of mammary gland, causing what? Causes milk ejection. Then vasopressin. Again, as I said, vasopressin is also called as ADH, or it is otherwise called antidiuretic hormone. So hyposecretion. What do you mean by hyposecretion? Less secretion of this hormone causes water diuresis, or it is otherwise called diabetes insipidus. You should not get yourselves confused. One is diabetes mellitus, and the second one is called diabetes insipidus. This is, I think you might have heard about sugar. When the glucose level is not controlled and insulin is not produced in sufficient quantity to control the glucose level in blood, it is called as diabetes mellitus. Kannadadalli sakkare kaile anta heltare. But diabetes insipidus is water diuresis. What is water diuresis? Excess elimination of water through urine. Is called. So vasopressin is also one such hormone which is produced by the hypothalamus but received by the posterior pituitary. Here you can see posterior pituitary, water balance, and that is water balance, ADH water balance, parturition, that is childbirth, and lactation is oxytocin. So here anterior, here you can see hypothalamus. Then here you can see the pituitary is divided into anterior pituitary and posterior. Anterior pituitary, ACTH, GH, TSH, PRL, LS and F helps in metabolism, growth and development, reproduction, lactation, response to stress. So you can see in this picture, the pituitary is divided into anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. So anterior pituitary produces ACTH, then GH, which helps in metabolism, growth and development, reproduction, lactation and response. So posterior pituitary produces what? Oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone. Oxytocin will help in parturition, lactation, and ADH will help in water balance. So vasopressin acts mainly on kidney and stimulates active reabsorption of water, and ADH is very much important in regulating the water level in the urine. So acts mainly on kidney and stimulates active reabsorption of water and electrolytes, leads to concentration of urine and reduced loss of water. It is also known as antidiuretic hormone. So as you know, urine should not be neither too concentrated nor too dilute. If it is dilute, it leads to water diuresis, or otherwise called diabetes insipidus. So that is controlled by vasopressin. Oxytocin and vasopressin, the two very important neurohormones of the posterior pituitary, have a great role to play in the human body. So vasopressin acts mainly on kidney and stimulates active reabsorption of water and electrolytes, leads to concentration of urine and reduced loss of water from the urine. Hence it is called antidiuretic hormone. Hope you have understood about the pituitary gland, how important this master gland is. As you know that, why it is called as master gland? Because it is going to control the other endocrine functions of endocrine glands, may it be like the thyroid, may it be like the adrenal gland, right? So it has a great role to play. As we know, pituitary gland is divided into anterior pituitary, which produces the hormones like GH, PRL, TSH, then LH, then FSH, then ACTH, then also it produces MSH. The posterior pituitary will not produce the hormones of its own kind. Instead, it receives the hormones of the hypothalamus, namely the two very important hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin. Hope you have understood the important concepts of this very important endocrine gland called pituitary. So I'll be back in the coming session with yet another important endocrine gland. Till then, goodbye and thank you.